Uh, well, I just thought I'd walk you through. My name's Michael Weekman. I thought I'd walk you through the proposal I'm giving you for this artwork and hopefully just give you a chance to kind of at least hear from me on what I was thinking. So, first off, just thank you for considering me for large scale painting. It's something that I take pride in creating Christian artwork. And I love the idea of this song and what that could mean for students as they walk through and they think about their walk with Jesus and they think about their Savior. So just going through just past artworks, so just some visual examples of work I've done in the past. This was my most recent kind of larger scale commission of from a section from Romans. Um, my emphasis from Bethany was in painting and 2D kind of creation. Right now, I'm a teacher of art, um, and here's just a project from Wisco that was a project that I could have kind of took pride when I was there of each year having a unique gift for the international students. I included this work because this work kind of shows the level of detail that I have expectations on the boat, and then maybe some of the textural collaged elements, but then also kind of the texture of the water that I'm anticipating in the future. I'm kind of working with so that 2D but kind of collaged elements are something I always like to include if possible. So the song "Let Us Ever Walk with Jesus," I walked through and I kind of just highlighted some imagery. So that idea of like sunshine following the storm, follow on the storm, and then just the idea of footsteps and walking with faith. You know, faithful Lord, abide with me. Full of faith and hope and love, and then just the different flows of the different stanzas and how this one's kind of about death and I guess the sinful nature that we have and how that needs to be realized that we cannot do it and we need Christ. So then just thinking about allegories that would really apply to students that they would kind of connect visually and be powerful visually and also connect to their life and maybe the struggles that they have. So then I thought about this idea of, I did a lot of different renditions before, but then I kind of settled in on this Matthew 14 reading where it talks about Jesus walking out on the water and the disciple leaving the boat but having fear, and God telling, or Jesus um, telling them, take courage, it is I, do not be afraid. Peter then saying like boldly, like, let me come to you on the water. And Jesus just says, come. Then Peter gets out of the boat, and then obviously you kind of know this of how he starts to sink and cries out, Lord, save me. And I think, especially in high school, you have so many students who cry out in so many ways. And if they can know to cry out, Lord, first, and then save me, they can see that their salvation is through Christ. And as he helps Peter out of the waters with his hand, what a beautiful picture of us hoping and reaching towards God throughout our whole life. So just exploratory sketches. Once I kind of came up with that focus, you can see here basically a bunch of different images. I thought maybe a comic style where you have a bunch of images telling the story, but that's not necessarily, I think, sometimes is as impactful as just one image that kind of lives in someone's brain over the course of their life as they think back to their moments walking these halls. And so the composition of like kind of the powerfulness of the wave, and the water and the world and the turmoil you sometimes feel as you're sinking, but then Jesus helping you out of that water with, especially in high school, like these disciples in the background seeing this scene. And I think in high school you're so impacted by other people and how your actions can bring hope to others as well. And I think there's such a beautiful example of that at Wisco. So many students being so bold with who they are and their walk with God and being an example to others. So here's just like my rough rendition. Obviously, this is like with just compositionally trying to play around with what is this actually, how does this flow, how does this work. Again, you have the scene here in that bottom third, and then you have the boat on the other third line. Then I kind of played around with just textures and like making it. Now this is not by any means dialed in, but these are just, again, compositionally. What would that look like? Does he have big robes on? And these are things I still have to kind of play with. How far is the boat in the background? Is it more off to the left here? Is it more central? I think I will move it over a little bit more. But this is at least enough to give you a visual picture of kind of what I'm thinking for the canvas. A larger scale canvas, the hope of the sun, kind of, and then the hope of the actual Son of God, and the textures, right? So it's going to be a painting with a lot of textures, and digitally, I'm just throwing them in there quickly just so you kind of get an idea of that. Yeah, so then material costs, obviously there's cost to canvas and brushes and getting the artwork to the destination. So I just have those kind of outlined here. And then for labor, yeah, I usually like to, I work quickly with my painting and my layering and things like that. It's something that I just realized I'm bold and I can work quickly. And then in those little detail areas, those take a long time. So oftentimes you don't know if when you're working, an experimentation phase of the painting, how it'll go. So there's some flexibility with kind of how long this might take. But I put down kind of the hours and the amount that probably will be. Now, again, I really want to work with you, and I really want to bring this image to life in a painting that can kind of live at a school that I love, and it can live there for a long time. My goal is always to make the best work that I've ever made, and I think this has the possibility of kind of that being a really impactful visual. So I hope you, I hope you like it, and I look forward to feedback. I'm open to feedback. Obviously, a lot of these things are still in layers, so I can move them around, and I hope that I hope this could be a blessing. All right, have a great day.